In this video we see a very unique visitor from the continent. I get awful footage of various scarce and rare warblers, and we see this year's rarest bird. After a last-minute decision, we headed to Lincolnshire. Hi folks, we have no lighting technician this time, it's only us two.
Because we've actually got lights.
We've got batteries in all of our lights and twinkle lights and stuff, which is kind of cool. I digress. We're in Lincolnshire again. We came here, a couple of weeks ago to see a redback shrike. We're back in almost the same spot to hopefully in the morning see a Siberian stonechat.
We're quite literally in the same spot.
We're actually, yeah. We've parked exactly the same place we were, and we're going to the same place we saw the redback shrike. It's uncanny that there's another bird there. But we're going to spend tomorrow just trying to pick a few things up. Apparently there's a few Hoopoes in Yorkshire, 2 of them, so we try and find one of those.
You want a picture of the yellow-browed? I
want to try and get some footage of a yellow-browed warbler. We saw one last time, but I didn't get footage, so we couldn't count it. So that would be nice, and see what else there is about. So stick with us for this little adventure. We're going to have a beer and then go to bed.
Definitely.
See you in the morning. We'd parked for the night at a place called Horseshoe Point, which was about 20 minutes away from our first stop. It was a cold but bright morning, and there were a few birds around the car park, including a few jackdaws and this wheatear that hadn't migrated yet. We soon got on the road towards Donna Nook. Hi folks, it's very bright and it's also absolutely freezing cold. You can see the sun behind us, it's really bright. We are at Donna Nook, where we were at the start of our last video, so it was near the start of our last video, looking for redback shrike. This time we're hoping for Siberian stonechat or yellow-browed warbler or another red-breasted flycatcher would be nice, all of which were seen yesterday. Anything really. All of these birds were seen yesterday, so that would be cool. Let's try and warm up, have a wander. When we arrived, we headed out into the reserve, trying to find out where the Siberian stonechat had last been seen. After taking a wrong turn, we headed on the right path, walking past a few birds, mostly reed bunting. This species was very numerous here. Some were in bushes and some were feeding on the ground, with other species like dunnocks. We soon bumped into another birder who pointed us in the direction of where the Siberian stonechat had been seen. Apparently though, it was being a little elusive, coming out into the open for a short while, then disappearing into the foliage. The path took us next to a little pool, where there was a little egret fishing, and some other small waders like redshank. As we got further up the path, we spotted another birder who was looking at the Siberian stonechat. I couldn't see it for a while, but then finally got the camera on it. This bird was generally quite flighty, only sitting in the same place for a short amount of time before dropping back into the undergrowth. This species breeds in Central Asia, Russia and the extreme northeast of Europe in the eastern part of Finland, and was only recently validated as a separate species from the European stonechat, which is good for us because that's an extra bird for our year list. We watched it flitting in and out of vegetation for some time until finally it stood on the top of a twig for quite a while, giving us a great view. After seeing this, one of the other birders told us that there was a red-breasted flycatcher that we'd potentially walked past on our way here. So we walked back along the path to see if we can find it. This species appeared in our last video as our 240th bird of the year, and it was a lifer at the time. Unfortunately though, the bird was at a bit of a distance and obscured by fog, so we were hoping this time for a better view. After picking out some other birds like wrens and robins, Kaylee saw it in a bush really close, and unfortunately it was spooked, so we waited for it to return, and when it did, it showed reasonably well. It did generally keep within vegetation, but it stayed quite close, so we got some lovely views. Hey folks, success! We got the Siberian stonechat, and we saw another red-breasted flycatcher, but much better than last time, although it was hiding in its bush.
No, it was hiding in the bush for you, not for me.
Kaylee walked past it and had a good look at it.
Good conversation.
And then it flew off, and then after that I think some of the other birders might have been getting a little too close. Yeah, but still, I got a little bit of footage, much better than last time's foggy footage. That's not a bad start to the day. So, now, There's a mega up in Bridlington, about 2 hours away, near Bridlington, Bempton Cliffs.
But it looks nuts.
Somebody just showed me a photo their friend sent at the car park.
It's nearly like
and it's like, you got no chance. So we're going to head in that general direction anyway and see what else we can pick up en route.
And then try and get it first thing.
Maybe try and get it first thing in the morning if it's still there, and if we can even get into the car park. I didn't tell you the bird. It's a pale-legged leaf warbler. So there's only ever been one accepted record until now. So
yeah, it's a mega.
But it's a mega. But anyway, we might put that on the back burner till the morning. Let's see. Anyway, keep with us. Let's see what else we find. As we headed back towards the van, another bird crossed our path. More good news. We finally got footage of a sparrowhawk. It's not the best footage. It's flying past us at speed. But that's a bird I haven't managed to get footage of yet. So it's not a bad morning, I would say, considering it's only about 9:30. This has been a great visit to Donna Nook, and we got the Siberian stone chat, which is a lifer. Our next stop was about an hour and a half away to the outskirts of Hull, where a very unique continental European bird had showed up in a housing estate. After we parked up, we got out of the van and headed round the corner, following a few other birders. After chatting to them, they hadn't seen our target bird for about half an hour, but told us where its favoured spots were. We headed to one of them and found our bird. Yes, it's a hoopoe. This individual was feeding on a grassy area in between some houses. This amazing looking bird has a pretty unique appearance. With peachy plumage, black and white wings and a long curved bill, it also has a crest that it can raise up. Hoopoes are pretty widespread across Europe, Asia and Africa, and even though they breed as far north as northern France, they're reasonably rare in the UK. So we felt very lucky to see this individual so close. It was extremely confiding, only being spooked by a couple of kids on bikes. Hey folks, so we're in like a housing estate on the outskirts of Hull, and we've driven here, walked round the corner, and there were some birders who hadn't seen a hoopoe here, but then we walked round another corner and there was a hoopoe on the ground feeding happily. We got really close to it. Like, I've got some really close footage, probably the closest I've ever been to one of these birds.
You just walked nearly in front.
Mental.
Go over a bit.
And yeah, it got spooked by some kiddies on bikes, but that was amazing. Right, we've had a bit thought processes going on.
Deep pumps.
Yeah, you can see the steam coming out of our ears. This magger that's at Bempton Cliffs, this pale-legged leaf warbler, we bumped into someone who's seen it this morning, but it's absolutely mentally busy up there. So we really want to see it, but we're worried about parking the van. So we're going to head in that vague direction, probably first to Flamber Head, because there's numerous birds there, including yellow-browed warbler, that I really want to get footage of to add to our year list. So stick with us. We're going to head that direction and see what we find. We drove for about an hour to Flamber and near to a sewage works where an icterine warbler had been showing. This bird had been sighted intermittently, moving around in some tall trees behind a mesh fence. We stood and scanned the trees for a while. There was plenty of movement. We even saw another red-breasted flycatcher. There were a few birds that were silhouetted that could have been the icterine warbler. After a while of walking up and down, getting the binoculars on anything that moved, somebody did spot the icterine warbler. I have to apologise for the footage. It won't be the only warbler footage in this video that's pretty terrible, but you can see it. It's in the little white circle. At one moment we did get quite a good view, but I wasn't quick enough with the camera. But anyway, that's a great new bird for the year list, and a lifer. Hey folks, we've just got ourselves a lifer. What was it?
It's an icterine warbler.
Yeah, we saw it. I struggled to get footage, so my footage is absolutely terrible.
We did get really good views.
We got good views though. We were trying to take through a mesh fence, and it was not easy to photograph through. I've got two little videos of just birds moving, but that was an icterine warbler. We also saw more red-breasted flycatchers, a couple of them, and some yellow-browed warblers that I couldn't get any footage of again. So still can't count them off. We're heading now to Benton Cliffs where there's a mega. We've been told it's hard to find, and I probably won't get any photographs or footage.
No, you're not going to. We've been told you won't get a photograph, but it's still worth going to see it anyway.
Yeah, but we're going to go and have a look because it's a mega, and apparently it's the first twitchable record in the UK of a pale-legged leaf warbler. So we're going there now. We should be there in about 5 minutes. Stick with us. Now we took a very short journey to Benton Cliffs, where the rarest bird of the year so far had been spotted. So we're still in the van, and we've just driven past the manicness of basically people climbing in bushes. Yeah, so we're going to try and join the fun.
I don't know if we're going to climb in a bush.
I'm not sure if we're going to climb in bushes or we're going to just hope it flies out and sits on a branch for us.
Yeah.
That would be really nice.
Never going to happen.
It's never going to happen in a month of Sundays. But anyway, we're going to give it a try anyway. We're here now.
But this could be my 300th bird.
In the UK. Yeah, if Katie sees this, this is her 300th UK bird.
This is pretty.
And if she doesn't, we'll have to find another one. It'd be nice to get a mega though,
It'd be
wouldn't it?
good to get a mega.
Let's see what we can find. Although this individual had been here for 4 days, it took them that long to actually identify it. This was achieved by recording its song, finally confirming it as a pale-legged leaf warbler. This is the first confirmed living bird of this species seen in the UK. There was a possible in 2012, but it couldn't be confirmed as this species, and the only other one that could was a dead specimen that had flown into a window in a lighthouse in St Agnes in 2016. So this bird had gained a lot of attention. The only problem though, it was sticking very low and deep in vegetation. After some time, it flew past us calling, giving us views of it both in flight and when it landed in some thick bushes. Hey,
We got it.
we got it.
We didn't get it on film, but we got it.
We didn't get it on film. It's a pretty elusive creature, but it flew and it flew across, and we saw it flying across from some vegetation to another bit of vegetation, and then again it flew around and landed in some brambles, kind of in front of Kaylee. I was in the wrong place because it was a bit of a scrum, but we both saw it, and that is Kaylee's 300th British bird in the UK. So she's super happy. We're going to stick around, maybe see if we can try and get some footage for you. We decided to stick around for the rest of the afternoon. Hopefully we'd get better views, maybe some footage. And later on our wishes were kind of answered. The warbler flew past us and landed in a bush, giving me a distant half a second of video footage. But this little bird is possibly one of the rarest birds ever to be seen in the UK, and also not surprisingly a lifer. Following this excitement, we did stick around until dark, chatting to plenty of really interesting and friendly birders. Hi folks, it's now evening-ish, it's going dark. We stuck around here to try and get more views of the pale-legged leaf warbler. I got the most rubbish little video of it flying away, but it's something, so that's good. I even got some even more rubbish videos of yellow-browed warblers, so we can now add them onto our list. I think we've had like 6 birds today. Just nuts, really. Well. Absolutely crazy.
There's 4 more to go.
Yeah, until our 250. We might have to.
No.
We might have to raise it up to 260. I don't know. No.
Under pressure.
Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna go for find a chippy.
Celebrate.
Because we fancy one, and then we might stick local and come back in the morning, see if we can get even better footage for you. Why not? We've had such a good day. Stay with us. See you in the morning. The following morning, I woke up early. Probably too early, really, as it was still dark. And not surprisingly, Benton Cliffs already had a half-full car park. Hey folks, we're back at Benton Cliffs this morning, looking for some footage, more footage hopefully, of the pale-legged leaf warbler, mega that's here. It's early and it's packed already. People were here before first light. So let's see if we can find it again. Fingers crossed. This elusive rarity. As the sun came up, more people arrived, and eventually the pale-legged leaf warbler made a sound, causing many birders to scramble. Again, it was sticking deep in vegetation. I got this video, which may actually be a yellow-browed warbler. I'm not quite sure, as it's quite distant and obscured by leaves. Regardless, it didn't matter as we'd seen the bird the day before. We stuck around for a couple of hours, but after a quiet patch of nobody hearing or seeing the pale-legged leaf warbler, we decided to leave the other birders to it. Hey folks, we've seen it again. I got a really nice view earlier on. Again, not quick enough with the camera. This bird is very flitty and mobile.
He's very elusive as well.
Oh, it's a bit of a pain. Anyway, it's about 9:30 and
it's about 50 million people deep.
Oh, yeah, you can't. You struggle to get in. It is like very busy. Like
We've done well. We did really well yesterday afternoon. It was so much fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is like the busiest. I think this is the busiest bird I've ever been to. Busiest twitch for people. It's mental, but it is a very important bird, with it being the only living specimen of this species in the UK. As we were leaving, another interesting warbler was sighted.
Hey folks, one of us had a really wacky idea to go see a what?
An Arctic warbler.
Not mention any names.
It took us about an hour and a half to drive to Spurn, and by now it was about midday, not giving us a lot of time at all to find our target species. Luckily though, we didn't need it. Almost as soon as we got to the Discovery Centre car park and Kaylee had disappeared to the bathroom, one of the other birders spotted the Arctic warbler. It jumped around feeding in the front of a bush. I was pretty concerned the warbler was going to disappear before Kaylee came back, as this bird is a lifer for both of us. Luckily it stuck around and put on a great show. That was brilliant. We got it.
Almost missed it.
That was a real risk. We got it. Kaylee went off to the loo to use the conveniences and she missed it. But she came back and she was like, oh my god, I've missed it. And then anyway, it showed again. Really nice. We're off to Kilnsea Wetlands to see what's there. This was worth the risk. Still excited from the Arctic warbler, we headed to Kilnsea Wetlands, where there'd been an equally exciting sighting earlier in the day. Hey folks, we're at Kilnsea Wetlands now. Kaylee is behind me. She just stopped to see if the little owl was there. Earlier today there was a pallid harrier seen here twice, and last night, but I've just bumped into someone and it looks like it might have disappeared. We're going to have a quick look anyway before we go home. Still reeling off that Arctic warbler, that was amazing. Whilst walking down the path we bumped into some other birders who had seen the pallid harrier earlier that day, but apparently it had flown away into the distance. Although they did inform us of an American widgeon that was on site that could be viewed from the ridge near Beacon Ponds. We walked up and looked over the pools. There were plenty of birds there, including groups of black-tailed godwit feeding in the shallow water. We also spotted a couple of pintail that were in eclipse plumage. No sign of the pallid harrier, that seems to have gone. But we did get a bonus American widgeon, which in itself is a rare bird. But we have seen one this year already, so we can't add that to the year list.
That was the start of the year.
No, it's mental, isn't it? We need to go now. We're going to go back to the Discovery Centre just briefly. We've got about half an hour to see if there might be a barred warbler there, which we're getting greedy now, but what a weekend. Stick with us for the last bit. We arrived back at the Discovery Centre with a very short time to spare. Apparently no one here had seen the reported barred warbler. This was a shame, but our consolation prize were more amazing views of this Arctic warbler. What an amazing bird to end our video. What a weekend.
We've just had the best time. Honestly.
It's been nuts. Not only have we picked up like loads of birds for our year list, we've got lifers. I think we've got 3 lifers each, and met loads of people.
It's crazy.
We've seen a bird that is the first alive one of that species in the UK, which is just a mega, and it is a mega. What a weekend. What an absolute stunning adventure. Thanks so much for watching. Please like,
please subscribe,
and please press the notification bell, and we'll try and top it next time. No guarantees.
Not a chance.